Aloha everyone, this is Tony with the Transformation Space. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about critical thinking as a tool for transformation. I think it can be a daunting experience for some of us having to, take time to analyze what's going on around us and observe what's happening and put it through our belief systems and put it through how we live to really make sense if it's right for us or not. And it can become more complicated than I think we need to make it. It's really about pausing for a moment and internally looking at what's going around you and listening to what's happening around you and making a judgment for yourself. Does this align for me? Is this right for me? Why am I doing what I'm doing? I've heard many times this expression of people saying, you're living in the matrix, or people are living in the matrix, or they're sheep, and I don't necessarily believe there's actually a matrix, but what I do believe is that we are conditioned and taught through socialization and cultural teachings to be a certain way. And it is what happens. It's how we grow up, we observe what's going on around us, and we become that thing that we are taught, what we should be doing, how we should be doing it. Meanings of success. I think this is an important one, right? Because oftentimes we hear, you've got to be successful, you've got to be successful. And the definition of that is very different based upon who you grew up with, how you grew up, your culture, anything that you've learned from society in the environment that you lived in. I know for myself this has been a very confusing aspect of life because I came from, my lineage is immigrants, right, from different parts of Eastern Europe, Italy, Ireland, and Finland, and we came here to survive, right? Came to the United States as a land of opportunity to make money and live, and money becomes a foundation for a lot of people's ideas of success. And so when I grew up, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, but what I grew up with was a lot of people working really hard to make money. In some parts of my family, that was their only goal. And so I learned that that was what was important to be successful. And so that's what I did. I was picking up cans for recycling when I was 10 years old. I always had money. It was always a drive for me. And that was my idea of success. But what that left out was joy and happiness and personal satisfaction. And that wasn't part of my success story. So I didn't work toward that. I worked toward building a business. And, within that, I helped a lot of people. I launched a lot of careers. I taught a lot of people some great information. And it felt very successful in that aspect too. But I didn't, to be happy was not a goal of success. And so when we talk about critical thinking, if I had understood what critical thinking was maybe in those times of my life and really critically thought about what I was doing, I might have had an opportunity to question that. But this is also the difficult part of critical thinking. You have to question what's going on around you. You have to question people. You have to question yourself. You have to question your actions. You have to question whether you're happy or not. And it's difficult because when you question people about their belief systems or their cultural values, it can become very defensive in response. And many times people don't know the true answer for themselves. And that is also difficult for someone when we question what they're doing and they have to, feeling like they need to defend what their actions are. That defense can sometimes come from that same sense of I'm doing what I'm doing and I don't really understand why. I've had these experiences with people in my life too where, holiday stuff, presents for Christmas, it never really resonated for me. It didn't make sense to me why we would ask people what they wanted for one specific holiday and then give that to them. It doesn't make sense to me. And so I didn't enjoy engaging in that with certain family members and a partner, and it was difficult for everybody else that I didn't partake in the same way. It was difficult when people asked me what I wanted and I said nothing. And I eventually had to kind of figure out how to play into this, because, I was choosing to be with someone who was a big part of their family practice. And so I came to terms of, asking for food or things that didn't stick around, because to me, when I critically think about what is enjoyable to me in that aspect, it is just not having an expectation upon myself about anything. And expectations for me are uncomfortable. They're disrespectful. And I don't comply to a lot of that. And I don't conform to a lot of those cultural expectations or social expectations. And it's difficult for other people. And so, when we critically think about these things, it can make people uncomfortable when we start questioning why we need to be doing what we're doing. But it doesn't matter, because what's important is that you understand for yourself, why am I living this way? Am I being intentional about what I'm doing? Do I get up every morning and just go about the day and not think about it because I don't want to? Well, think about why you don't want to think about it. There may be reason to dig into that. Automatic living it can be a very unrewarding way to live. And homogeneous environments can be a big part of that, with the expectation of conforming to a cultural norm in that space. The space I live in now is vastly diverse, with people engaging in all types of different cultural experiences in their own, and sharing. And when I look around and see people that don't look like me, I don't ever feel like I have to fit in, because no one's expecting me to be part of what they're doing. I don't look like them, I don't come from the same place, and there's no expectation that I need to be the same. But what I do know is that respecting the way other people want to live their lives and are living their lives is incredibly important. My life has become richer because of the influences of other social situations and cultural norms that I have experienced. My spirituality, my food palette, my aesthetic appearance. There's so many things that I have gained from being around other people and open to critically thinking about how they do things and asking questions about why they live the way they live, so I can better understand if there's certain things that resonate with me better than others, and then things that I can stay away from. So I encourage you to critically think about everything, really. Why do I get up at the time I get up in the morning? Why do I have the morning routine that I have? Why do I strength train 3 days a week? I can tell you why I do everything that I do. And if you can explain to yourself why you do everything that you do, you're going to be living with intention. And if you want to make change and transform, you've got to critically think about all of it. Until next time.